friends. And I hope you are doing safe. I hope you are safe with your family and doing good. And yes, a little bit more of patience. We need to be a little bit more cautious, and I'm sure this will be over soon. And we have been fighting, and we will be fighting this situation, right? So, post COVID, things are very slowly getting normal, and we are trying to make it normal, trying to feel normal. But then, yes, with all the precaution, with all the safety measures, I am sure we will fight it together, right? So we today have the next episode of our June season, and we are very, very happy to have with us Mr. Ishan Bajpai, and a very, very interesting person with a very interesting initiative of his. And I'm sure an initiative which you generally do not find as such, okay? An initiative which is not very common, an initiative which has been very well thought, a need very well analyzed. Ishan Bajpai is a BTech mechanical graduate, and he has been working for some years with the companies. But then, as we call it, the entrepreneurship ka keeda, that's exactly what bit him, and he left everything that he was doing and created his own baby called MELT, MELT. And this is something very interesting in the area of 3D printing, creating prototypes, and definitely we are going to hear more about this from Ishan. And the best part is that today we also have with us Utsash. And Utsash is a very young chap, bright young boy, has graduated from the Xavier's College, a college which is very well known in this eastern part of our country. And his professional career very interestingly started with internships. Internships as a concept probably is now becoming popular, but till few years back students never understood what is the importance of internship. But very thankfully now students know what internship is all about. Now, once he completed that, he wanted to join army. That's interesting. He wanted to join army, but then when he realized that there are other things to do, there are better things to do, he joined a very interesting group of his friends who are working towards waste management. And they have a waste management company. And that's something which really intrigues all of us, I'm sure, because waste management is one thing that needs so much of focus in our country right now, and where there is so less work that is actually happening. So Utsash today is representing Shuru Up, a group in collaboration with My Cool Guru and Shuru Up. We have taken this initiative, and Shuru Up is a group of bright entrepreneurs. It's a group where we all are a part of. We discuss. We are trying to create one common platform where all of us come together. We exchange whatever we have, our needs and all that. So we want to create this environment of entrepreneurship, and that's how we have started this concept of startup stories. So before wasting any more time, I would straight away get it over to Ishan, and I would like to ask first thing is, how did this journey from being a student in those days to being an entrepreneur this day to this day, how did this journey happen? What happened during this journey?
First of all, I would like to thank My Cool Guru and Shurya. It's a great initiative and collaboration that is happening. And the first season is like all the guests were really amazing. Thank you, Dr. Mahua and Uchwas, for having me here. And to begin with the question that you asked, so basically, I'm still young, as you can see, right? And it's a journey that is going on. It's not I haven't completed half of it, right? So my main the passion that comes in from your early stages, or maybe in the process of your life, right? You see something, you look for something that strikes your brain, and it clicks, something like that. Maybe you have to try a few things several times, then it clicks. And it varies from person to person, right? So I've been into mechanical design field since my college days, and I chose that particular field after doing 10 plus 2. I purposely chose that I want to go into mechanical, not CS, not IT, but mechanical, because it was something that I wanted to do by myself. And going by that, I joined a college. Obviously, I actually didn't focus much on ITs, and like that, I was not that kind of a bright child, So I was like into like I have to get mechanical and I will figure it out something of my own. Then from the second year of college, we have a good couple of friends out there in the college. One of my friend is in ISRO right now. He was a very good friend, and we from the third year, fourth year, second year, third year, fourth year, we started something like anything. It has to be something to we have to do of your own. We started a design kind of a freelancing work where we used to do design for other, and in college days we used to teach design to us seniors and juniors for this mechanical design software. From there things started, though we weren't generating any revenue, but it was like a thing. In the college days it's not money that matters, it's like you are doing something, you are utilizing your skills to do something, right? And that was happening. So that gave especially me a push, like, yeah, I mean I can do something out of it, right? Then I started completed my 4 years of college. Then I joined a design firm and worked there for 6 months, but it didn't work out. I came back to Calcutta. I was not you know the work was not syncing with my vibes, it was not giving the same vibes. Then I joined another company in Pune, and there I worked in the design field only. I was getting offers from others like marketing, sales, but my main aim was, since I have worked 4 years in the design and mechanical field, so I should push my career in the same. So I joined in Pune. I worked for 1.5, 2 years, and there also I got a hint of 3D printing, right? And I was very keen. I'm still keen, to look after these technology which are trending, be it 3D printing, AI, drone, big data, anything. These are the trending things, because since something starts from now, it has a larger scope in the future, right? So you have much to explore about it. So that was my main perspective. So in that time, what I used to do is basically, uh, obviously salary was 20,000, 18,000, 15,000, 25,000, like this. Some work, freelancing work goes up and down. You have your rent in Pune, you have to have your food, you have to go out, chill with friends, whatever. So what I did, I thought, I was planning, okay, I will get a 3D printer, and then I will start slowly, I'll invest money in everything. But it, something when it comes in mind, ki karenge, then he's in that phase, karenge. It doesn't come into phase ki ho gaya, right? So I was just in the night, I just like around 2 a.m. I thought, if I have to do something about it, right? So what I did, I was a salaried person at that time, so I ordered a credit card, because salaried person get a credit card easily. I got a credit card from Axis Bank, and I got a limit of say around 30-50K, and I got a 3D print out of that. And I didn't tell anyone in my home or everything, because in a joint family, typical Indian family, you have to tell your finance, like kahan ja raha hai, paisa kahan aa raha hai. So I didn't tell anyone. I told that, okay, I will just get a 3D printer and start it. So in Pune, I was staying in a PG, right? And in PG, it's a shared PG. It was a 2 BHK flat, 5 people were there. So I got a machine, I installed in the kitchen. There was a common kitchen, I installed in the side of a kitchen. And I just, pitched to my roommate that it won't do any harm. It's a biodegradable material, so you won't do anything. I will pay the extra some money to electricity to the PG guy. I used to pay extra so that it doesn't bother me much. Then I started, doing things, contacting Facebook posts, because I wasn't a company by then. So I was just texting, do it, I'll do it for low cost and everything. I got one client and he gave me few orders. Now slowly that I came to know, yeah, this technology has a big market and a big scope ahead. So I thought, then I inquired about Calcutta, like, is there 3D printing there? Then I was surprised, like, coming to Delhi, Pune, Mumbai, Bangalore, Calcutta, like, people are like, still, I would say, like, it has been reduced, but still people call me, bhaiya, photo print hoga kya? Bhaiya, Xerox karna hai kya? Because they search in Google, like, printing, so mine pops out. So it doesn't just read it's 3D printing, or they are not much aware of. So I thought, like, that's a good market, right? Where there's no market, that's a big market, right? So you can easily tap in there. So that's what I planned. I talked to my dad and everything, like I'm not able to work, because I also got offer from government companies like Indo Jamal Tool Rooms and everything. But in these 2-3 years in my corporate office work, I understood that in a job I won't be able to manage much. Like, I will be pressuring myself to getting a one-time salary every month on the 30th of the day, right? But it won't make me happy or anything. So I said, I won't work here. Let me come to Calcutta and then start something. Start small and start something. So I came here. I got a 3D printer. I still have that. And there I just started working. Got some money from here and there. Then reinvested that. Bought more machine. Bought more filament material. Everything. Right. Then I took some loan from my elder brother. He's in IT. He's a very supportive guy, right? I took from. I told him, give me and I will return it to you. And he was like, okay, it doesn't matter, you take it. So people like these support us and it gives us a boost up, right? There are few people, be it friends, father, mother, anyone, they support you and gives a boost up, like, yeah, I can do something, right? So that I took money from him and then I said I will return you with interest. However, interest the bank charge, I will return it to you, no issues. So I took him, I invested, and from there the journey was like, first year in Calcutta it was like बहुत लोग को नहीं पता है, they are still going, क्या है, price बहुत ज़्यादा है आपका, ऐसा है वैसा है, but you had to make awareness. I conducted few workshops, seminars, then slowly people understood, yeah, things are happening out here, and they contacted me, and currently we are ranking number 1 in Google for 3D printing. Even if you Google it out in Calcutta, we have a good reviews database, 4.9, it should have been 5, but some competitor dropped it down to 4.9, and then it's working pretty good by then. And the journey is still going, as I told, it's not yet done, and it's been just 2-3 years. And currently we're working with the good clients, we have good client database, and the best thing is like we are profitable. Since in 6 months we got profitable and we are generating revenue. We have few staffs also, and that's the best thing, right? You get to see your efforts coming out and coming out good. That's the journey till now. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing so much, so inspiration, your hard work and the way you have done it. Really amazing.
Right. So, in fact, the best part is perhaps when you break even in 6 months. That's something which every entrepreneur like us will keep dreaming, right, Utsash? Right? In fact, Utsash, you are writing down certain things. I believe you have something to ask or say. You are very cautiously taking down certain notes.
What I actually going through right now is seeing that a lot of people, from the college time, they're taking up this journey of entrepreneurship. They're trying to build something. So Ishan was saying that he had this kind of interest or passion about creating something from the college life, right? From what he wanted to do. So my question would be to Ishan that right now, after you understood your passion, but still you went into jobs and you did something, how you should guide, how you should tell the people who are still in college that how they should pursue if they have any passion. Okay, how they should understand that whether which step they should take or which process they should go for, and how they should increase their productivity or increase their reach towards their passion in what way or the other. Like you use the error and trial method, right? You went through this process, you tried a lot of things in your life till you came to this came and started Melt, right? So
right.
For you, it will be easier to give a guidance to the college students to what they can go for, so that they don't go for the trial and error method which you have gone through.
Right.
It will be a sharing of experience.
Right. So as you must have read it somewhere, I don't know, but Cred founder Kunal, right? You know him, right? The Cred app that you Credit card app. He said a very good thing. He quoted like every student or every person who is in college must do a startup, must try to do a startup. It might not generate revenue, it might be profitable or not, that doesn't matter. Just do a startup, because you will get the exposure, like what all difficulties or what all benefits, both pros and cons you will be facing in the future or in the coming time, right? So see, my startup when I was in Pune, this was not the first thing. I developed my own air purifier. It is still kept. I didn't have the money to rationalize it and then commercialize it. Then I developed. I started few different kind of masks also at that time. So I tried few things. It's not like I hit in the first place. In the college time, I was into product design and development, and so obviously everyone is not sure about what the thing is, right? Because suppose they must be sure that I was sure that I can do something. I was very sure about myself that I have my brain particularly have a thing that it can understand things quickly and apply it. That is my plus point. So I am utilizing that in this 3D printing business, and that clicked. So everyone has their own specific niche. They don't get it now, they might get in future. Like KFC founder, Kentucky, he got success in age of 50-60, right? When he sold so much chicken, going places to places, right? If you go through his history of story, his wife divorced him and everything, there's tons of things, but still it till the age of 65, right? So the thing is, suppose take example of a dancer, right? A dancer loves to dance. He can dance, or she or can dance because she might be able to memorize step quickly, or might be able to copy step quickly. So that is his skill. He or she is implementing that skill in dance, right? So the person or someone who's willing to start in any college or anything, they must obviously, if you have a very profound idea, a very strong idea that yeah, I can do good in this and that, then obviously you should try it out. But if you're not sure, still that's not a dead end. You should try it out. And in college, that is young, very young, pretty much, right? In today's generation, where you can learn anything and everything, like if you see ads in TV, like 10-12-year-old kids are learning Python and coding and all. I even don't know a code of that, but that doesn't matter because I'm not in that field, right? So it's not about the knowledge. You can, in the future, coming 10 years, 15 years, knowledge will not be a very high, looking for thing kind of thing as resume kitna pada. It's available on net, right? Even we have Grammarly to correct our grammatical mistake in emails, right? So it doesn't matter even if you're good in English. What matters is creativity. That I feel personally. If you're creative enough, that skill is going to sell. It's going to go a long way. You have to be creative. Be anything. Be creative in art. Be creative in game. Be creative in esports and dance. Anything, any hobby. So people tend to compare also like passion or hobby with value. Value considered to be money right now, right? But some earns good, some doesn't, but doesn't matter. If he or she is satisfied with that, like she's making 30-50K a month and she's okay, I'm making this much, I'm spending time with family, I'm roaming, I'm traveling, that's a life if they have plans, right? So for the college student, basically, right, if you have something, just try it out, right? And it doesn't have to be startup, right? Because abhi it's like a vibe in the outside world that startup karna hi, doesn't have to be. People are happy with their corporate job also, right? 9 to 5, 9 to 6. They tend to be like, I'm working, I'm getting a salary, I'm good enough, fine. So that is on their own choice, what their mindset is, how they're willing to do that. So wo unka choice, we can't force them. Yeah, but you have whatever you're planning, just do it, try it, fail and start it again. That's the general mantra everyone says. So yeah.
Absolutely. In fact, something that is becoming very popular these days is the concept of intrapreneurship. That is, a person working in a corporate sector also is required to have an entrepreneurial mindset, because they are made the profit center heads, or they are being made accountable and responsible for earning profit in that particular initiative or a project or a department or a responsibility that they are given. So in fact, as a management faculty, when I have been interacting with corporates, they have told us a lot of times that when we come for placement and we pick up students, we look at the entrepreneurial mindset. Not that they have to be an entrepreneur, but the entrepreneurial mindset actually helps us, because the candidate understands that yes, the company has invested so much, so this is how I should be saving money for the company. So that's the mindset. In fact, Utsash and his team, they are also working towards waste management, and someday we will definitely be hearing his story also as to how they started and what all happened. But then perhaps if you look at it that way, this is also a kind of huge creative thought process that goes behind waste management, because after all, waste is waste. And creating certain handicraft item out of waste is one issue, but then managing it properly, seeing that the waste does not goes out and damage a person and the environment, that's a big thing. That's being extremely creative, trying to understand that.
I have also seen in LinkedIn posts currently, if you see, people are writing like, I am looking for someone, this post, and even if he has started up and failed, those are also welcome to apply, because they understand if someone has started and failed also, they have that particular journey or mindset in mind that what the company goes through, right?
Exactly.
So yeah, that is working. And I remember this one Renaissance artist Michelangelo once said, there's the quote that most of the people or the founders or are frustrated not because they aim too high and they miss, but because they aim too low and they hit. Right? The meaning of being that is, once they aim, okay, I will earn this much, and then I will, okay. When they hit that, then they don't know what to do. like अब
What
तो कर लिया,
next?
what
Exactly.
next? Other companies are now, they feel that my competitors are earning so much, this is earning so much, what to do? So now there the frustration start, like I have reached this, now I haven't planned for next 2-3 years what I'm gonna do. So that's the click point. Like you can dream of anything, obviously it costs nothing, but you can start small and start it scaling up. That should be the main
Absolutely.
process.
Right. Right. So, yes, Uchha, you were saying something?
Yeah, I just want to say that it's all about trusting the process. I mean, when you enjoy the process, it exactly builds that momentum in where you want to be. So most of the people talks about destination. You should have a destination, and that's what Ishan actually pointed out. If you have a destination, after you complete destination, then what? I mean, आप तो gas station पे अभी जाना कहाँ है? So in that scenario, I think it is better that if you enjoy the process, okay, we keep doing things not for the expectation of getting some big targets to be done, but eventually it will be done. But the process which we are going through may be bad or good, whatever it is. Every time, I think we get something out of it. Every time.
Right. And
So I think that
as a startup, sorry to interrupt, but as a startup, I see people and founders saying that some are like you have to make money, and some are like money is not important. I don't agree with both of them, because like say for example of a car, right? The car needs a fuel to run, and its a purpose is to go somewhere, right? So the car needs petrol or diesel or gas to go somewhere. As a startup should something, it should need money for the goal, right? That should be the objective startup, and it shouldn't be like bina paisa, we don't have a motive of money, then the startup won't work, right? You have salaries to pay, you have a revenue to generate, right? That should be, but the main motive shouldn't be like कि paisa ही बनाना and nothing else. So you should, the startup or the founder mindset should be like you should use the money as a fuel to go to the destination that you have planned, right? Like our Melt, what we are doing, we have, like personally I feel like I have started a mindset of reducing the gap between prototyping and production, right? We provide prototyping, we provide product design, 3D printing, sheet metal, injection molding, different kind of services we have scaled recently. So that is our motive. Obviously, if we don't charge people, then that will be charity. So startup is not kind of charity in direct way. You use the resources and you use a particular problem solving, scale of problem solving, destination model.
Absolutely,
So that should be the mindset. I agree. I think so. Right?
Money is the byproduct. As in, like money is a byproduct of the process you do, and
Right.
everywhere
So
that's how I
using
think.
as a fuel also, and you getting it also, and you are
Absolutely.
that cycle you are utilizing for way ahead.
Right.
Yes.
Absolutely.
In fact, if you portray that you are a very charity-oriented entrepreneur and that you do not want money, I personally feel that as a startup or as an entrepreneur, you have taken the responsibility of being a job provider. So if you are a job provider, then and you are not to some extent money oriented, then how are you going to pay to your employees? And if you are not profit oriented, then obviously your employees at some point are going to lose that faith on you or the confidence in you. That if we are not able to earn the money by working for this startup, then why are we here? Right, so perhaps it's about striking that balance of doing good to the society, doing something creative, as well as earning money in the process, and then utilizing the money to earn more money in the process. So there has to be this balance. Being a startup does not always mean that no, I don't want money. Yeah, probably for first 6 months, 1 year, maybe you don't earn. You just keep on managing your goodwill and you keep spreading out and all that. But after 5 years also, if you say I'm not earning money, then that's not a business actually.
So you must also give your employees or the interns the assurance that yes, because I remember, I don't remember the founder's name. She was like raising fund, and she doesn't have the money to pay their employees, right? What she did, she said, trust me for 6 months. In 6 months, I will pay you the salary plus this much of interest or hike, whatever. So some left and some stayed with her. For the 6 months, she managed to raise the fund, right? And then she paid the salary to whoever remained. Because those who remained, they understood, yeah, she's working with the objective of generating this. She has an objective of working hard and to take her company somewhere. So that mindset is required.
Absolutely. So Ishan, was it really easy or were there challenges?
Obviously, there are challenges everywhere
So
in everything.
what were the challenges and how did you overcome?
So first was, see, I'm a tech guy completely, right? If you tell me open this microwave and check, I will do that. But if you tell me to take this microwave and go to this house and sell it, I won't be able to do that at that time, right? Currently, I am at some level, but obviously, I'm not a completely sales guy. That's why we have a team for that, right? So first challenge was that I have the tech thing with me. Now, what about the rest, right? What I'm going to do for the rest? How I'm going to make the sale, how I'm going to approach the client, and everything. So first challenge was that. Second challenge was that I was already in a job, right? And parallelly I started this 3D printing work. So what I used to do at that time was, I still remember, my HR was a very nice person, right? So she used to come with scooty, and my PG was not far much away from my office. It was around 10-15 minute distance. So what I used to do, I used to put the print in the morning and go, and in the lunch time, either I have to lunch or I have to go to my PG to change the machine. So I used to take a scooty and go to the PG and change the print in 10-15 minutes to come back to the, and I used to just take a bun or something on the way, right? Because at that time, I mean, I was very excited, like I have to give this to the client, because from the first day until now we are completely customer focused. Like if you get a job done from us, you receive a box of melt properly packed and everything, right? Because I personally believe if आपके पास कोई courier आता है ना, and if it's a good, you won't give any positive remarks to someone, but if it's like cramped and everything, you get a negative impression that ये कैसा आया है. So that negative thing happens. So I personally believe that sending someone something, it's like it has to be proper from our side. Yeah, maybe in courier something, but we have to make sure it goes that. So that was a challenge at that time, managing things and then accounts and everything. So in that time, resources come into play. For accounts and everything, you get free tools on the net, right? We used to use Zoho Books free time version. Government has made free for now, right? Then we, for marketing and all, we used to like work for on Facebook, and because I was a solopreneur at that time, right? I started just my own. I used to work night and just posting everything, calling clients and everything, leads, generating leads and that, and then pitching and everything I used to do on mail. So I was showcasing that it's a very professional thing. If someone receives a mail or call, it doesn't seem that I am working alone. So that was the main call. Then slowly I registered a proprietorship business out of it, right? And then slowly I take it from there. So main challenge for me was the management part, and tech part I was pretty much into that, because I used to sleep at around 2-3 and then again wake up at 8 a.m. and go to office, and in the office I was like half dreamy, and my HR used to say like, Ishan, you didn't sleep properly. I said, man, long story, I can't tell you. So that was the thing. And if I have to go site at that time in the morning, then again, so it's obviously it's not something I am doing something different, but every startup has to go, founder goes through and will go through, right? If you are going something, maybe you are having funding, you might come target anything else, you will have any other challenges. So challenges come, and the only thing is your motive should be right. Yeah, you have to take one at a time and then tackle it. That is
Absolutely. Because I believe Utsash can also relate to the story. I would also definitely relate to the story that initially when you start, you really forget the physical pains, and you can go to a large extent to actually get it up and running and all that.
Everything was closed last year, no supply chain, everything. So our whole community came across and we developed those face shield. Must be wearing those in your houses or while seeing. Last year it was a very big success at that time. So what we did, since face shield there was a band and there was a visor, transparent sheet, right? So what we did basically, since the supply chain was broken, nothing was there. So we got a design online, we shared in the community, and that design was being developed all over India. And we developed in Calcutta. We were the early ones who started that, and we have around 10-12 3D printers out here. We started developing those because since we can't develop plastic molds, everything, 3D printing was the only source at that time. So we started develop those band, and in my family, me and my father used to just punch holes on the visors with these hole punches. Then we make 100, 500 of those, and then we supplied, and it like spread like anything. Then my videos and everything got spread everywhere. And then doctors from PG Hospital, Medical College, Lady Dufferin, everywhere just started coming near my house. Like there was every 1 hour one doctor's car used to come. They used to take 100 pieces, 200 pieces, and that was a major hit because at that time it was like you have to communicate. No one should spit on you, so you have to cover your face, right, to cover yourself from being infected. So that was a huge success at that time. Then I thought that the demand is so big that we can't just do 3D printing as of now. So what we started doing is we started cooperating with other vendors who got permission from government. So I found one vendor in Chennai, one in Mumbai. So at that time only one flight used to work. That used to go from Chennai to Mumbai, Mumbai to Delhi, Delhi to Calcutta. And that was a cargo flight. Only one flight used to run at that time. Only for goods. So we used to get those done in bulk, like 1,000, 5,000 pieces in 5-4 days. Like that was a demand at that time. And we used to get it, we used to collect it. We got a permission from PG Hospital, they gave us a pass. We used to collect from airport, we used to take it, and then we used to distribute it. And we sold around, not exactly, so we sold something, we also donated something to, Park State police stations and everywhere where we could. We also gave to the delivery guys and we used to come out for us in our local area also. And it was like around 1 lakh pieces we have total provided. And that was huge that time. And it was a small product, but the demand was created in such a way that that small product was like a requirement, a necessity or a want at that time, right? So that time was a very good for 3D printing community. Then that was one product. Then we developed ventilators, like ventilator walls. From one ventilator you can operate 2 patients, right? Then we worked with Panagar military. We provided them 3D printer. They were developing their own mask. So that time when everything was shut, not in India, whole world, the 3D printing community was growing so much that they were providing resources everywhere. Like 3D printing is what you can print anything. Just imagine you can print whatever you have in front of you, right? The quality might not be as good as the industrial one, but it will serve the purpose. And that was what was needed at that time, And it just worked like this, and everything was like piling one after another. And when other companies were shutting down, losing their hope, and entrepreneurs were losing their hope, we in 3D printing community, we were like, okay, yeah, we have this tool, we use it. So that time I got a very good lesson that if you have the tool, you must look for opportunities to use it, right? If I wouldn't have used 3D printing for that, maybe someone else would have used that in Calcutta, right, in the early stage, and he would have done that. Then I would have later regretted, okay, यार मैं भी कर लेता शायद, मैं कर लिया होता, मैंने किया नहीं. Most of them console themselves like मैंने किया नहीं, वरना मैं भी कर लेता. But that is not the point. The point is like you didn't do now. That is the thing. So that is the lesson that I learned, that opportunity is one thing. Hit it. If it works, works. If it doesn't, then you try it, right?
Okay.
It's a lesson.
Right.
So
right.
That was a very good call.
In fact, that's actually arousing my curiosity that, as you said, you kept on designing different things and kept making it a 3D print and all. Then definitely, Utsash, I think you would also agree that a lot of us have these lot of ideas about startups and all, but we are very scared of setting up a plant or setting up a proper infrastructure to create a product, because that actually costs a lot of money. So can this technology be actually used by startups to create prototypes, and so that at least we can see initially that what it is actually going to look like and function like to some extent once it is finally made, so that before investment people actually know to some extent that yes, this will work.
Right. So basically we are already working with startups, right?
Okay.
So basically, they are startups, not even startups, they are companies, they are institute, research institute, they are industrial companies who are utilizing this. So they are, before obviously developing, suppose there is a plastic bottle making company. Before making a mold out of it, what they do, they send us a file to us. They will see how the bottle is going to look, and they show to the client.
Right.
Okay. So what they are getting is, before investing maybe lakhs rupees, 50,000 rupees on a bottle mold, where you can't change the design later on, you develop a prototype out of it, and once you show the prototype, you make the changes and you go for mold. So we are already helping other companies and startup as well. We are working with different startups across Calcutta and outside Calcutta also, where they are developing prototypes before going for mass production. So that is one of the advantage of 3D printing, right? Where you just can develop things. Imagine it and we develop it. That is the motto.
Right. Right. So that's
basically you are trying to. I'm so sorry, ma'am. Like I just.
No, it's okay. Please. Yeah.
So basically, what like you're trying to bridge the gap between what you imagine and the expense you could have made to build that imagination into something. But where Melt is coming in, and they are showing this way that if you have imagination at a very lower price or very at a sustainable price, you can convert it into a prototype which can be easily available to the for your like it can be given justice to imagination that okay, this is what you've imagined and this is the thing which has come out. So if you have anything else to do, so basically that's how Melt is providing the value to the people, right?
So it's not limited to only prototyping. We have also provide small scale production. Suppose there's a home automation enclosure that come, right? They put inside behind your board and everything, and you can control via remote and right. So there are startups who can't afford molds and dies because that costs an initial investment. Say suppose 1 lakh rupees or 2 lakh rupees of mold, 5 lakh rupees of mold, right? And that mold design is something where you can't make major changes. Once it's done, it's done. But you have to invest something. So there we also come into play where what we do is we provide you with 3D printing, small volume production. Say suppose you have a market of 100 pieces only. For going on mold of 100 pieces, it won't cost it won't be cost effective at all because per piece cost will be maybe 20-50 rupees, but the mold cost came to 2-3 lakhs. So 100 pieces it gone, you can just make them do the maths, right? So what we do, we provide you, give us the design. Say you want 500 pieces, 200 pieces. You print 100 pieces, you said, okay, I want a design change. Send us the design again, we print the modified design again. You don't have to pay anything extra. Yeah, the per piece cost is not as less as the injection molding, but here you are not paying any upfront charges for mold design, development, and you are also not giving a time period of 30-45 days for mold making, right? So that's the benefit you get with 3D printing.
Okay.
Right. So that's very interesting because I believe this 3D printing will have a huge opportunity in the prototyping market, in the personal gifting market. It could be a very good opportunity for the young chaps who come out with various product ideas to at least see what their ideas will look like. It could be used even in the defense, in the military, in the industry, everywhere. Wherever you have an idea and you need to see how it looks like, that's exactly where the 3D printing could actually come in.
Right.
So
I would also
yeah, please.
Can I add one more point? Like we are already working with, like last year we gave a 3D printed moon lamp to our respected governor, and we gifted them to him, and he was very amazed to see. Like it's we got one image of him and a wife and his wife, and what we did, we take that image and impose on a 3D printed moon lamp. So it's a custom made moon lamp with a light and a stand, and it can be developed only via 3D printing. So that comes in the gift segment. We have worked with companies, leading gift company also in Calcutta for all these gifts. In the defense, and we have worked with Panagar military and National Defense Force for developing 3D printers. We have provided them with 3D printers and providing 3D printing services. Even ISRO and all are developing, utilizing 3D printing to develop rockets parts. And so it is going crazy in every field, be it architectural, defense, medical. We also develop medical models, pre-surgical models where doctors can plan it out before surgery. Okay, we have to do it like this. So that saves a lot of time plus criticalness of while planning the surgery. So you name the field, we have got everything out there. So that's the those are 3D printing.
It's very interesting. So for the coming generation, for the youngsters who are still confused about what exactly the businesses could click post-COVID, like why I'm asking it, because you worked a lot during the COVID and the post-COVID situation. You have been giving a lot of solutions to the market. So keeping all that in mind, your experience in mind, suppose you have to guide a youngster as to what kind of business ideas or what kind of industries would click during these times. Those who have not started as of yet, probably they are thinking of starting, or probably those people who might have lost their jobs and they are utilizing the job loss also as an opportunity to start something on their own. So what kind of ideas do you think will click during these times? What kind of market gaps do you feel are there?
So in this time, the first market, I would first go with the market segment. If you're targeting B2C, then it's a very good scope, right? Because even if by chance, if suppose this flow of COVID goes for 1 year more, then there will be lockdowns, right? And lockdowns mean industry will be half operating or will be closed. So the market gap falls out there. If you're targeting B2 customers, then you have a market that goes forever, right? So the customer market, either you can go for medical or like this medical things, maybe ventilators, or if you're planning for low investment, maybe mask or something. That field is going to stay a long period even after COVID, right? Because last year I believe I have saw that when there was shortage of PPE kits and masks, the factories has been set up, like every day factories were being set up, and today there is no shortage, right? Today, last few months back, there was shortage of those oxygen concentrators. Now people are those of them. So medical field is one of that. Then there is this B2C, delivery and managing the, like Danzo is doing, Swiggy, Jimmy is doing. So we can have a niche one. Like suppose in Calcutta, people knows Swiggy, right? Danzo is not here in Calcutta yet. It's in Bangalore and Delhi already, right? So we can have something that model develop where people don't have to go out. A person will do things like that. Obviously, they will pay. People will happily pay, right? If they are not going out, they will be easily paying $50-100 for them. If someone is getting things from Big Bazaar or something, that is also one aspect. Then if you were just for the youngster, esports the one cool aspect. I mean, people look it as from a gaming point of view, but it's a huge market in the coming scenario. Even our government was also promoting it last year, right? That's also a good market to be tapped in.
That was, I believe, a very good tip, that keeping in mind the market and all.
Segment. Okay. Isha, I had a question for you. We see that a lot of technologies are coming up right now. Okay, like a lot of technologies are actually replacing a lot of industries and a lot of things which has been there for a very long time, right? So my question to you is this: that 3D printing is something new which is happening in India right now, especially in Bengal and in the northeastern states right now. So the question will be, what kind of industries 3D printing can replace in coming future? What do you think? Like what kind of industries? What kind of industries the 3D printing is going to replace in the coming future? The things which has been running down. Yeah.
So see, I won't say 3D print. Yeah, you can complete the question.
That's what the question used to be. Like what it can replace like in coming future.
So
that was the question.
First of all, I would like to clear that 3D printing is not here to replace anything. I won't say it would replace anything. What it is doing is it is making prototyping and production easier in a way. Suppose take example of see, for basic example, you can take plastic industry. Since we are basic 3D printing, the base 3D printing is from plastic, biodegradable plastic, right? So you can't say it can replace the current plastic industry. No, it won't. The reason being, everything has its pros and cons, right? So taking example of plastic industries, for injection molding, you can't develop 5,000 or 10,000 pieces in a day with a 3D printing setup. You maybe think that I can install 10,000 of 3D printers, and if one takes a day, I will have 10,000 of parts, right? The thing is the repetitiveness of everything, where 3D printing currently has a downfall, right? Because you have a part, you get a prototype done, you get 100, 200, 500 pieces over a period of time. But getting it on an urgent basis with a high quality finish of an industrial grade material, there are few things that where 3D printing lags. Considering, say, suppose drone making. Now, currently people would have been developing drones via those woods and hard plastic and everything. 3D printing will add on there. What it will do, it will add a perspective that you can promote this drone via manufacturing drones in a 3D printer, right? So it is not replacing that; it is helping that. Coming to medical. Now in medical, doctors are taking it as a can do pre-surgical guides. Even tooth caps and everything are being 3D printed. So that is adding on. Even if you consider architecture, you would have seen. I don't know if people, the audience, have seen or not. There was a 3D printed first India 3D printed house that was developed in Chennai by a startup known as Trust. It's our community-based startup only that have developed a one-story 3D printed house, completely 3D printed. And our finance minister has inaugurated it around a month or two back. She has inaugurated it. So what it is doing, it is not replacing the architecture construction market. Why? Because obviously that is not, you can't create a Burj Khalifa with 3D printing as of now, right? Maybe you can make and put it there, but it won't sustain that. So the challenge is basically how we can cope up, support each other technology, right? So 3D printing houses come into handy where people want low budget houses, like those living in slum and all. So government can take a contract with a company. They can develop a 3D printed house. Maybe in a week there will be thousands of houses, right? Just set a 3D printer, it will build, and there you go. You have a whole slum converted into a properly organized community. So it is solving problem actually, right? So in architecture, first people used to make with those foams and all those demo models which you see in any big organization. Now 3D printing is helping in making critical parts and everything. So 3D printing not here to replace anything. It's trying to add on, ease the effort. You can say in simple, ease the effort of any industry that we are currently having.
Right.
Yeah.
It's about bridging the gap, reducing the cost. It's about helping in visualization. Like for example, these days there are a lot of data visualization tools that has come up, so
Right,
that
right.
helps people take decisions. So similarly, probably this is a tangible way of visualizing the ideas. So that's where this will actually help the market. Right.
Right. Absolutely.
I think it was for both of us. It was really for me and Utsash. It was really something very interesting to know about 3D market. I don't think we have ever discussed the 3D printing in such depth before. But I must say thank you so much for joining today like this in this discussion. One of the best episodes I would say we had. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you, Utsash.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
And this actually, I believe today, all those who are watching this episode today, I'm sure you all would close this video with a lot of ideas in your mind. I'm very sure that this video will ignite a lot of ideas in the mind. Thankful to Shurva for this collaboration. I'm thankful to Shurva for participating with us. And as usual, my Kulguru will continue with the episodes of Startup Stories, so stay tuned to us. And yes, last but not the least, the most important part, please subscribe to our channel. Please like the videos, please share the videos, please spread the word. These videos, and yes, these videos are being done for people at large. We want all people to think about entrepreneurship. We want many students to come up and do their own startups. That's actually the pleasure that we all will have, because we want to increase our community of entrepreneurs. Trust me, in India, we are very few in number as of yet. In Bengal, we are very small. So we just want this number to increase. So please subscribe to our channel, spread the word, and be with us, stay connected to us, and we'll keep on bringing more such stories, more interesting stories. Thank you all for watching.